more can I say?
Top Billin.
Yo, Top Billin. Back at it again. Sweeping college football, talking about some of these quarterbacks that are coming, right, in conjunction with my draft coverage. So I keep telling people, no need to panic and reach for a quarterback in this 2021 draft, because the next couple of drafts will have a ton of great quarterbacks as well, or at least a ton of great prospects. I think like everyone after Trevor Lawrence over the next couple of drafts are very much similar to each other. A lot of boomer bust candidates, a lot of guys with questions, maybe some guys not enough starts, not enough attempts, just questions, right? So the talent level is there between a lot of these guys. Some people do stuff different than others or do something better than others, but a lot of quarterbacks that are very talented, where if you didn't necessarily get a quarterback in this draft early, that if your team is still bad the next couple of seasons, you will be able to get a guy that is as good as these guys you think are, like Zach Wilson and Trey Lance, Justin Fields, and these guys. So keep it up with that, man. I want to talk about my boy Matt OK Corral, the biggest, baddest gunslinger out there, right? Figuratively speaking. He's not a big dude by any stretch of the imagination, but, man, he has some cojones, or whatever you want to call him, because this dude is fearless. He will throw the ball into the tightest of windows. He will take some serious risk. Now, I think he is the most talented quarterback in college football for the 2021 season and beyond. If he does have more eligibility after this season, he may be, I'm not sure what he's classified. He may be a redshirt sophomore or something like that. Not exactly sure about that, but he has one season of starting experience under the great Lane Kiffin, who in my opinion is still the very best offensive mind in the sport. Your man Steve Sarkisian went off. Lane Kiffin's boy too, Steve Sarkisian, right? Very much tied at the hip. I still think Lane is the best. Watching Lane's offense with this Ole Miss shit, man, I don't know. I got to get a piece of that action, baby. I might have to start covering Ole Miss. I love watching it all throughout the season. Y'all know me, man. I'm big on defense and stuff like that, but this is some creative shit on offense, and he has it dialed in, and he has the perfect maestro for his pace and space, right? It's really a pace and space type offense. Matt Corral fits it to a T. I remember when people were coming into this season, they were wondering if the previous starter, John Rice Plumlee, would be the starter. And I was thinking to myself, that's not a Lane Kiffin type quarterback. Lane Kiffin wants to throw the ball around the yard. Plumlee, he can do a little bit of that, but, man, he is a severe athlete. I think a guy like Plumlee moving to receiver or running back or something like that is in his best interest, and or just being a gadget guy like a Taysom Hill type, because Matt Corral fits exactly what Lane Kiffin wants to do. I think he's the most talented. Now, let me clarify, because people do not understand this. For the 8 years that I've been in media at all kind of various major platforms, nationally syndicated radio shows and everything, talent does not mean best. Talent is a word, like somebody told me a long time ago, talent is like a French word that means that probably going to get you fired. It could get you fired, because if you can't cultivate it, then it becomes something where you're like, oh, damn, what are we doing with this kid? Matt Corral is one of these boomer bust types. He is everything you could want if you're talking about these new age quarterbacks that people go crazy for. He's essentially Zach Wilson. I see no difference between him and the BYU kid Zach Wilson that everybody is thinking could go number 2 overall to the New York Jets. Zach Wilson a couple of inches taller, but Matt Corral built more solidly at 6'1", 205 pounds, might be 210 or something like that. Built more solidly. Matt Corral might even be a better athlete than Zach Wilson. They both have similar arm talent. Matt Corral can make any and every throw you can think of, off, on and off platform, in rhythm, throws down the field, opposite hash, everything you can think of. He has one of the best arms that I've seen, and I was around this kid quite a bit. For some odd reason, he would love to travel to the South, even though he's from California. He competed when I worked at Rivals. He was in our Rivals camp here. I'm not sure why he was in our Rivals regional camp, but I know it just by knowing what he is and the moxie that he has. That particular camp also had Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence in it. So he wanted to position himself next to those guys, because I know he probably feels he's as talented as those guys. And I think he is. I really do think he is. But he's also one of these guys that is in an offense that is crazy. I'm talking about taking some serious risks to the way he had some games where I'm like, damn, Matt Corral looking bad out here in these streets. It's just a couple of games like that, man, where he turned the ball over significantly and it kind of hurt his statistics. But overall, if you look at it in the grand scope of things, as a matter of fact, let's look at it right here. Now, your man went for 3,300 yards in the 9 or 10 games or whatever they played. 29 touchdowns. He had 14 interceptions. So people are going to look at like 14 interceptions. Oh, man, every game he was doing this and that. No, it wasn't every game. He went through some stretches where I'm like, damn, this is the best quarterback in football, right? Even to start out, right, you look at that, right? He had 9 touchdowns and 1 interception in his first few games. Or one of the games, which you'll see, I'll go over in a film study right here, the Alabama game. He was as good as Mac Jones, in my opinion. He went 21 out of 28 for 365 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no interceptions against Alabama. And people are going to say, well, that was Alabama's early defense. It don't matter. They could have played them at the end of the season like Florida did, and they would have did the same shit. This is just a hard offense to stop with him back there, right? And they had a number 1 receiver in Elijah Moore and a pretty good tight end in Kenny Yeboah, and a bunch of guys that I think are decently talented. They need to step up this particular season right here, but it wasn't like he was throwing to a whole bunch of top 10 picks and stuff. This shit is schemed up, and this guy has some serious talent. But then he would have a game like the Arkansas game here, and I'm like, damn, are they going to bench this dude? He had 2 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. 14 interceptions. Remember, 6 came in 1 game. 6. Right, and then in the next game against Auburn, 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions, and then he got on fire against Vandy. He went for 6 touchdowns, no interceptions. South Carolina, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. Mississippi State, the Egg Bowl, 2 touchdowns and no interceptions. He was on fire, and then LSU happened. Another 5 interceptions, and keep in mind he was fumbling too, right? He was fumbling his ass off and all kinds of stuff. He's just one of those boomer bust types to where you're like, man, if he can tone down on this like a Jameis Winston in that one season, if Jameis Winston could have cut down on half the turnovers he had, he would have had an all-time great season. He threw for over 5,000 yards. He had 30-plus touchdowns himself, but he had 30 interceptions as well. If Matt Corral could do this right here, he finished off pretty good against Indiana here with 2 touchdowns and no interceptions. It was a pretty good game going against a team that I saw Justin Fields struggle with. But this is what makes Matt Corral as well, right? He had 506 yards rushing, 4 touchdowns. The kid has some wheels with it. He is the most talented. Is he the best? No, the best is this kid right here, Sam Howell. This is my number 1 quarterback. He would have been my number 2 overall pick if he were in this particular draft. Just a true sophomore, 6'1", 225 pounds, playing at North Carolina. 30 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. He had 38 touchdowns and 7 interceptions as a true freshman here. He improved across the board. If they would have played more games, he had the same 400 and something attempts. He would have had a crazy-ass year as well. Sam Howell is that guy. He will be losing some weapons, so we'll see how that figures out right there. But Sam Howell, Matt Corral, Spencer Rattler at Oklahoma, JT Daniels at Georgia, Jaden Daniels at Arizona State, and then the next class with Max Johnson and DJ Uiagalelei and these guys. Whole bunch of quarterbacks coming for sure. Matt Corral is as talented as any of them, right? Let's go ahead and get to it. A couple of sequences in this particular game right here that had jumped out at me. I remember covering this game from Florida's perspective there, and Ole Miss was giving these boys the business, right? It's going to be a deep dig. It's going to come along here. You'll see Corral chain through, and he's going to hit Elijah Moore here. But the ability to step up in the pocket amongst the trash and the people flailing around you and everything like that and deliver an accurate pass into a tight window, this is some good shit right here. See him chain through, waiting for something. Look, they're playing coverage. Ooh, playing coverage across the board. That throw was hard. Come on. See him on the pool here. Playing coverage. Amari Burney dropping into your deep middle there. So having to navigate that, of course, you're going to have a breach here. Ole Miss's offensive line, some games, some hit or miss type stuff right there. That also leads to a little bit of turnovers. But look at that. Just look at the subtleness right here to be able to keep your eyes downfield and have great pocket feel. Looking at subtly steps over his offensive lineman foot. That could have been real bad right there. Could have tripped over, slide up in the pocket, step up, deliver a pass. Now look at the platform he's delivering it from, right? This is almost an a mostly arm throw right here. Not necessarily having to push off right there, but look, you can tell by how the drive foot right here slings around, putting some touch on it as well. But that's a deep throw on a rope. That's an NFL throw, ladies and gentlemen. And he was able to catch it on the run. It was like 3rd and 19 too. It was hard. God throws an incredible deep ball. Look at that. Front-facing play-action fake. Look at him step in the pocket and know when to put air on it, know when to finesse it. Like, come on. What was that? Look at that. Front-facing play-action fake. Holding the safeties there. Look, they may have been in some type of quarters coverage here, but he understood what was going on. I want you to look at this route here by Dontario Drummond, right? It has an outside stem on this post, completely turns my boy Kyer Elam around like a dreidel. And he saw it coming right there and released this. But look at the arc and trajectory he puts on it. Right? Barely going off, just lofting that bad boy up there, but knows exactly where to put it at to where his guy's going to come run up under it and continue and be able to continue to run. Absolutely perfect, man. Throws an incredible deep ball. He just throws an incredible pass, period. And they're usually very catchable passes, and he can put mustard on it with a strong-ass arm. This superior arm talent. See, there's something about Matt Corral having to go against all these athletes on Alabama that I know will be drafted and making these type of plays. To me, that will always supersede someone like Zach Wilson doing it against Coastal Carolina. Doesn't mean he's better than Zach Wilson or Zach Wilson can't be better than him, but look at this. Come on, even before we get to the throw, right? This is a future top 10 pick or whatever like that. Like he's doing some of this stuff too. Think about that. Back to the basket play action fake right here. Now he has to navigate Chris Allen. Look at that. Dead to rights. Nope. Muscle relaxes Chris Allen. Has him fertilize himself, right? Somebody going to have to check that man's draw. Somebody have to steam his draws. But look at the throw. First he pumped it right here. Didn't like that. Off his back foot. Look at the arm talent, man. Arm talent galore. Off of his back foot. Fidarian Mathis chasing this man down. Will Anderson right here, your top 10 pick right up on him. Now look at that. He's got that piston quick delivery that I like. That's why he's able to get this off right here. I just did DJ Uiagalelei. He has a super pitcher's wind up. This man has a piston quick release that he can get off of anything. This is a back foot, man, and look at where to throw. Think about that in terms of yardage, and it's going at a diagonal, so on a rope against Alabama. Come on, man. All right, you're going to get a split flow element here with this back to the basket play action fake. Obviously, it's Lane Kiffin, so we know he's a master of the West Coast offense. He's just doing a 3.0 version of it to where it makes people feel a little bit different right here. But I believe you're going to have a submarine route here to get Elijah Moore out in space. And you can see the arm angle on this one right here because you're going to have Will Anderson here in an even exchange situation, and he's able to navigate that as well. So back to the basket play action fake. See? That's that sliding. Like he normally throws over the top, but he can do it a 3/4 when necessary, and he can short arm it too. Look at that. Sidearm throw. Tell me that throwing motion, that everything right there doesn't look just like Zach Wilson. So be a good alternative to Zach Wilson. And I'll be honest with you, if they were in the same draft right now, I'd have to go with Matt Corral. Here we go again. Back to the basket play action fake. Will Anderson and these boys on the edge having a tough time with him. That's one. Now check this out right here. Nothing doing. Nowhere to go right here. This is the great Dylan Moses. One-on-one in space with your quarterback. 9 times out of 10 you would think, what? He's going to get him, but not a chance. Bang. Look at that. Made Dylan Moses fertilize himself and then gets himself some yardage right there. Right? Let's be real here. We know who Matt Corral reminds us of. He's in that Johnny Manziel vein and all this and that there. So it is what it is on that. We all love that type of play, but like I said, there's a boom or bust factor to it. But, man, his athleticism and arm talent and everything to be able to make linebackers like that with that type of ilk miss in the open field, get you a nice 20, 25 yards on the ground. Oh, man, they ain't playing around that Ole Miss. Look at this throw on scramble rules here. Flush the pocket. You can't really see him off camera right here, but I want you to see how this develops right here to Elijah Moore. Now you see him come right there. Now, Elijah Moore right here, He has to keep his eyes up, navigating. You know, everybody's going to be rushing towards him because of his wheels. But look at him, keep his eyes up, throws off his back foot right to Elijah Moore. Right, it was 2nd and 22. They got a first down off of that. But look at the throw itself coming. Got Christian Barmore coming on him, having to throw off his back foot again, staring down the face of the gun barrel in the face of adversity right before he can get there because of that piston quick release. Got it off. Hit that man right in stride. Come on. What are we doing here? Matt OK Corral, the baddest gunslinger out there. One man entice screen here with Will Anderson again. I don't know what to tell you here. One man entice. Look, that's a no-look pass, pretty much, right? He had to field this. They left an unblocked defender, Will Anderson, and they know that Stoop Connor's going to go out the back door with him. So it's up to Matt Corral to be able to sell this. So he's looking this all the way until he can feel it, and then he flips it out there. Right, just by throwing off, he threw off his damn near off his front foot on this one. This was weird. Look at that arm angle, man, and the pacing of it and everything. And look how accurate it is. If you've been following here, I've gone through some of these guys with some of these screen passes, and these guys cannot be accurate in the quick game like this. But look how accurate that is. Come on, man. So this was a weird one. It looks like it's going to be a split zone here. Kenny Yeboah coming on a cross formation block, kind of. But it's a bluff, and you're going to have a freeze read here with Jerry and Ely taking a circuitous route here, almost like a rap scheme, and it doesn't really make sense to me. And the man is once again dead to rights, and look what he does. He has that escape clause. Look at that. Signed, sealed, and delivered. Come on. Look at that. Will Anderson extra. He's aggravated. Look at that. He had to pound sand. Bang. Pound sand. He cannot get this kid on the ground, man. But what was this? Come on, Lane Kiffin. This shit is gangster. Extra long freeze. Why is he going that way and then bending back around here? And Corral's just like, this is what we doing? It was funny right here. And Will Anderson still can't get him, man. Look at that. Slippery. Powerful kid, like I said before, sturdily built kid, and he has some wheels. Look at that. He made nothing out of something, or something out of nothing. Both of them. Now, here's the brilliance of my man Lane Kiffin right here. So what you're going to have right here is shotgun ISO, but it's a bluff. Yeboah with the lead through, Connor coming behind him, but it's made to look like it's a pass tag on the back of a run call, but they're not optioning off any defenders here. So you'll see the linebacker, he gets blocked, and they're coming shooting right behind him with the slant pass here, I believe, to Elijah Moore, and he puts that bad boy. Small window of opportunity, it don't matter. Look at that, off a switch shuffle. Look where the ball went. Front-facing play action fake on that lead, just a switch shuffle. Just look at the feet right here. Switch shuffle, and look at the arms. The arm slotting because he has to navigate around some bodies here or whatever like that. Feathered the clutch. Perfect. Pitch perfect. Look at the product placement. Come on, man. Right out of the West Coast system right here. Lane Kiffin doing his thing. Got a rollout by Matt Corral here. You're going to have flat route by Yeboah. You're going to have corner route by my man Elijah Moore. Dontario Drummond here just sitting down in the void of the zone. So it's levels concept there, high-low reads, and you'll see him navigate this from under center. Back to the basket plaster freight. Great job by Snoop Connor here on this overhang defender. Now where do you go with this, right? You got your 3 levels here. Nothing to go right there for Elijah Moore here to that corner route. Nothing doing here from Yeboah. All you have to do is manipulate this linebacker, deliver off your back foot, Drummond, touchdown. Easy. So there you have it, man. My boy OK Matt Corral, right? One of the, what was that, the OK Corral where they had that shootout and shit like that? That's what that man's doing out there in Vaught Hemingway or wherever, all across the country in the SEC. That man is going to bring a big-ass gun to a gunfight. He's going to unload every single thing you can think of. Arm sliding, arm pacing with the ball, different platforms he's throwing it on. He's got the wheels. He can throw on the move. He can throw from the pocket. Kid is just extremely talented. So I'm going to go with him as the most talented. Not the best. He's got to cut down on those turnovers. He can't be Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Once he gets that, then damn, we're going to be talking about him right up there with Sam Howell. So we shall see with that. But, man, it's your boy Murph, the Underground King. Let me know what you think about Matt OK Corral, the gunslinger himself. And let me know about some of these other guys that we've talked about. So I got some more to go through as well. And it is what it is. So make sure you like this. Make sure you comment. Tell a friend to tell a friend if you're an Ole Miss fan. Make sure you tell them Top Billin is where it's at. Show me what's up, Ole Miss. When I worked that Saturday down south, they didn't allow me to do Ole Miss content, even though I loved it. And I covered the Saints before I got there, so I had a big Mississippi fan base. I used to appear all over Mississippi radio. But they said that Ole Miss content, Mississippi State or whatever like that, does not perform well enough for it to be at Saturday Down South, or at least for me to do it. So, hey, I'm not there anymore. Years later, I'm doing some content. Don't let me down, all right? It's your boy Murph, the Underground King. Thanks for watching. Peace.
What more can I say?
Top Billin.